Hey people, this is Jess, and I'm running a little late, but it's still technically Sunday here on GenderqueerChat. This week we're talking about gender in the news, and I found an article in the LA Times that ran on March 15th that I wanted to talk about. It's about the National Student Gender Blind Campaign, which is basically an organization that's trying to encourage more universities to have opposite gender housing dorms and things like that. They say they have about 50 participating U.S. schools. They listed a few: UC Riverside, UC Berkeley, Stanford, Cornell, Dartmouth, Sarah Lawrence, Haverford, Wesleyan, and University of Michigan. Those were mentioned in the article, which I'll provide a link to. I guess the organization was originally started to accommodate GLBT students, but the article actually focuses more on heterosexual people living in male-female situations in college. And the part that I found funny was that they were very careful to portray those roommates as more brotherly and sisterly. I guess they're just trying to fly under the radar and not like raise any feathers about people being in relationships. So that was amusing to me. The article says that in the schools that have adopted opposite sex or opposite gender housing situations, that only about 1 to 3% of students choose an opposite sex roommate. And they gave an example: Pitzer College here in Southern California. Their housing forms gives you the option of saying you want a roommate that's a man, a woman, other, or no preference. So I guess I wanted to talk about this just because the article was originally brought to my attention by someone that I went to school with, another queer woman, who wrote a little editorial on Facebook about this, talking about how our college had gender neutral housing assignments. You could choose your roommate and it didn't matter which gender, and also most of the bathrooms in the dormitories were gender neutral, the bathrooms and the showers and everything. And it wasn't for some super progressive liberal reason that our college was co-ed. It was because they didn't accept women until the 70s, and at that point there were so few women that they didn't dedicate an entire dorm to housing women, so there were only men's bathrooms and everything. If I remember correctly, one of the dorms actually decided that some of the bathrooms should be men's and some of them should be women's, just on their own without the administration's interference. And I think they put potted plants in the urinals in the women's bathroom. It was kind of odd. I only lived in actual on-campus housing for the first year and a half, and I, for the most part, did choose female-bodied roommates. My first year I was in a triple with 2 women, and then after that I got a girlfriend and ended up U-hauling it with her over in her dorm room for a while, which led to some hilarity. The housing people caught on that we had 2 rooms, one being used for storage and one where we were sleeping, and they thought we were trying to rip them off and weren't only paying for 1 room. And they had to send a representative, and we had to explain and come out to them because they didn't understand why we were sleeping in the same room. After the first year and a half, I moved to university-owned but off-campus housing, which was basically 4 and 5 person houses, where you'd have either your own room or a double room. The first one was me and 4 women, and the second one actually was where I got my more co-ed housing experience. I ended up sharing a room and actually a bunk bed with a guy, and it turned out better than I ever could have expected. He was really awesome and respectful and metrosexual, so he took me shopping and helped me improve my wardrobe a couple times, which was nice. But it was much better. It worked out much better than it would have if I had shared a room with either the other 2 women that were living there. The guy and I just had personalities that worked really well together, so that was cool. Anyway, as far as gender variant people go, I think that this is important, that people should have the option of living with whomever they choose. And if someone identifies really strongly with one gender or another and chooses to want to live in that housing, then they should have that option without having to come out as trans or gender variant. So yeah, I'll provide the links to both the article and to the organization National Student Gender Blind Campaign over in the sidebar. And alright, well, have a great week and catch you next time. Bye.